First of all, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. It actually means a lot. Cheers.
You have no idea how much I love the people in India, man. When I went there, I had a very unique experience. I had a great time. The entrepreneur is the mother giving birth to the business that's in the womb, the founder.
A lot of entrepreneurs, initially they want to do a lot of stuff. I want to be into gaming, I want to start a YouTube channel, I want to sell this, I want to sell that. What I feel is that once you need to specialize in one niche, one domain, and then you diversify. What is your take on this?
I 100% agree there. I'm all about specializing before you generalize. I think too many people right now are trying to be too many things for too many people. Your best friend in business is momentum. Rahul, how are you?
I'm good, Patrick. It is so nice to see you here.
Good to see you as well, man. Where are you based out of?
I live in India, in Goa.
Goa. Where's Goa?
So you came to Mumbai, right?
Yes.
So it's around a 1-hour journey by air.
Very cool.
It's like the beach capital of India.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So tell me about your audience real quick.
So majority of the people who follow me are in the age group 18 to 25 years. But in my coaching program, I also have people who are elderly as in 50, 55 years, who are wishing to get into digital and technology. So I help them so that they can get the knack of technology, use Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, all those platforms for themselves.
Awesome. Lead the way. I'm ready when you're ready.
Yes. And Patrick, first of all, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. It actually means a lot. Cheers. My team was so excited when we got a yes from your side.
You have no idea how much I love the people in India, man. When I went there, I had a very unique experience. I had a great time.
Wow. And you'll find it very interesting. I have been following you on YouTube since the days you had that pillow with you and you asked people to subscribe. And now I got to know that it was Mario who was the one who was throwing the pillow at you.
Yes.
Yes. So we're good to go, right?
Yes, lead the way.
All right. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs in India as well as outside India who are like, we want to earn millions of dollars. So what would be your first advice be for them? How do you first earn your first $100 and then you go beyond that?
So the way you earn your first $100 is go shadow somebody. Go shadow somebody and work under somebody that's has what you have, has certain skills that you have, that's willing to share it with you, that's willing to allow you to watch them. So for me, when I was developing leaders, I always allowed my office to be open because people can watch how I was working.
Right.
So if they wanted to come in here and see what I was doing or the way I was making phone calls or the way I was selling, I always left it open. So if you can find somebody that's willing to allow you to shadow them, you will have an edge over everybody else.
All right, got it. And one more question that is on the mind of almost everybody today is like, how are you surviving the COVID-19 situation? And then I tell you what we are doing about that. Yeah.
So how we're doing it, ever since they've shut down, I've been at the office every single day in the last 7 weeks, except for 4 Sundays.
Wow.
I've been here every day. I'm here every single day, Monday through Saturday and Sunday as well. And the only Sundays I didn't make it is I was spending time with the wife and the kids because of certain, one of my kids was like having some challenges. He wanted to go back to school and he was upset, so I spent a whole day with him.
Okay.
But I'm at the office every day. Here's why I'm at the office every day. You know, in life, we will have kids. I have 3 kids. I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Right.
But pain of a kid is the labor the mother goes through to give birth to the kid. Fathers, we don't do anything. We just kind of are there to support. The mother goes through the pain, body changes, all these different things. And then eventually they give birth to the baby. This is why the baby's always emotionally more attached to the mom than the dad, because the body is the first home the baby had, right?
Very true.
Okay. The entrepreneur is the mother giving birth to the business that's in the womb, the founder.
Right.
There is a very emotional connection between the entrepreneur and the business, because the entrepreneur founded the business. So if somebody's watching this and saying what we're doing, we're getting to work. I know sometimes we were not supposed to because we're not essential. One of the businesses was not an essential, but we're still coming to work.
Right.
Because it's our baby. We're not going to let anything happen to the business. And we had our best April ever last month. We're going to have our greatest month ever in the history of the company.
Wow.
This month. And a big part of that was the fact that we adapted ASAP to Zoom. Every presentation was adjusted to Zoom. Everything that we were already doing, we had adjusted to social media and technology, which gave us an edge over the industry, because in the financial industry, which is the industry I'm in, the average agent is a 59-year-old white male.
Right.
And the average agent in my company is a 34-year-old Latino female. So we played a complete different demographic in a game, which gave us an edge of our competitors. So that's some of the stuff we're doing.
Awesome. So you will be so happy to hear, because those are the things that you teach in all your videos. The last month also happened to be one of the best months for us. And the reason being that we started taking our content digitally long before anyone else could think about it. So I have about 40 people in my team. And right now, no pay cuts at all. We take care of their stay, their fooding, a domestic help is available to them. So we are doing our best, because I know that if there are a lot of people who follow me, this is the time for us to lead from the front and show to people that the challenges might come, but you can overcome all of them, isn't it?
I love that. There's no, 100% true to it.
100%. So my next question is, you have served in the army. So all the learnings that you have got from your army, how have they helped you in your business?
You know, the biggest thing I would tell you in the Army is the fact that they teach you how to pivot and make audibles immediately, meaning
right.
something happens and you're at war, if you're not paying attention to everything and suddenly somebody's attacking from here, you can't take 2 days to think about it. You have to think about it in that second. If you don't, all of a sudden they could potentially kill you and, hurt you. In business is the same way. You have to move very quick with the certain moves you got to make. If you don't adapt quickly, that'll that'll hurt you. And the other thing is the fact that in the military, you learn how to create camaraderie with your guys. Our unit, we had so much camaraderie. Everybody was almost part of a gang, a unit, a team. So nobody would mess with us. And that similar culture we created in every business or team I've ever built post the Army. So I would say those two things.
All right.
The thing here is, a lot of entrepreneurs, initially they want to do a lot of stuff. I want to be into gaming. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to sell this. I want to sell that. What I feel is that once you need to specialize in one niche, one domain, and then you diversify. What is your take on this?
I 100% agree there. I'm all about specializing before you generalize. I think too many people right now are trying to be too many things to too many people. And I'm not trying to do that. When we started our insurance company, originally, prior to that, I was, selling mutual funds, stocks, bonds, annuities, a bunch of different types of products. And then one day I sat there, I read the book, Blue Ocean Strategy. When I read the book, it talked about 4 things: minimize a part of your business, eliminate an aspect of your business, increase a part of the business, and create something new within your business. And that's exactly what we did. We eliminated a big part of the business, which was securities, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, selling those things. When we eliminated that, it got our folks to be stronger in the products that we focused on. And it was 2 products that we focused on. That allowed us to go from 66 insurance agents to now 14,500 agents in 49 states.
Wow.
But if we didn't do that, we would have never gotten to that point. I think too often people get, when you listen to a lot of different content, especially it's almost like, what's the best analogy to give you? Here's the best analogy I'll give you. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if Sundays you go to a Christian church, Saturdays you go to a Catholic church, Friday you go to a Muslim, then Thursday Sikh, then you got Hindu, then you go to all of these different religions and denominations that you go through every single day. You're confused. You don't know which book to follow.
Right.
Choose one. Every time I talk to people, I say, look, what's your faith? Here's what it is. Do you believe in it? I do. Do you practice it? No. Go practice it. Why? It's what you believe in. Go practice it. Right. In business, it's the same thing. What is the philosophy that you're building? Don't go listen to 6 different philosophies. Build on one philosophy. The reason why that is so critical is the following reason. Your best friend in business is momentum. True. Nothing is more important in business than momentum. And momentum doesn't come if you constantly change your philosophy of how you do business. Not getting creative on improving the business. I'm talking philosophy. Oh, right. This day we're going to do this. Oh, no, this day we're going to sell this product. Oh, no, this day we're going to sell this product. Oh, no, this day we're going to sell this product. The more you do that, Every time you make progress, so you go progress, new product, you're going back to here again. Progress, you go back here again. Versus progress. Okay, new approach, progress. Okay, boom, exponential growth. That's what you want in business, and that's kind of what happened to us.
Right.
There's a term that I have given to this, and I call it the shiny object syndrome. That whenever we see something shiny, we are like, oh, now I'll get into e-commerce. Now I'll start this business. Now Rahul does a lot of webinars. You know what? A lot of people, I've done about 250 webinars in the past 2 years. So a lot of people started replicating the same without understanding that that is my forte. So I need to focus upon that. And that is where a lot of entrepreneurs actually lose on whatever they are doing. And then they again come back to ground zero.
It's true.
Focus, specialize and focus. If you, we had a guy that came in here one time and he said, so Patrick, do you guys buy leads? I said, 0. He says, you don't buy leads? No. Every insurance company buys leads. I said, that's awesome. We don't buy leads. Then he started pitching this. He said, can you imagine if you also were to buy leads and you did what you're doing right now and you bought leads? I said, I can't imagine it. He said, how could you say that? Everybody else is doing it. I said, here's the problem with everybody else. He says, what is it? I said, everybody else is giving their salespeople fish. We're not giving our salespeople fish. We are teaching our salespeople how to go fish. Big difference. I want to teach independent fishermen and women while you're giving them fish. I'm not buying your leads. He didn't have an answer for me. I said, I wish you all the best. So to our leaders, when I talk to our guys, I say, do you want to increase your value in the marketplace? Everybody wants to increase their value in the marketplace. The way you increase your value in the marketplace is to be someone who's a self-generating lead machine. If you become a self-generating lead machine, you are irreplaceable. An irreplaceable person's value is very, very high. A replaceable person is the following. I give you 10 leads, you close 3, you make $500. No problem. I control you. If I stop giving you the leads because I don't like you and I give it to another person, I just took money out of your pocket. But if you know how to self-generate leads, you're not relying on me. You're relying on your own replicatable, a process of knowing how to get your own customers. I can't bully you. You dictate what you want to do with your life, and the market's going to give you what you want to do.
True.
I have also noticed one more thing in your videos, the way you put content and everything, that you have an opinion about something, and that's a really firm opinion. So on that note, if I ask you, what do you think are going to be the 2 businesses, that are going to really flourish after this COVID-19 situation is reduced, the problems that we are facing, the danger that we are facing once this vanishes, the 2 businesses that you feel are going to flourish like anything?
My answer would be
different kind of an answer. It's not the businesses. It's more philosophies. Let me explain what I mean by this.
All right.
So in sports, there are coaches that play by the same rules. A cricket or a soccer or a football or a basketball, there may be 30 teams, but they're all playing on the same set of rules, on the same field, the same size goal, the same size ball, the same size puck, the same size stick. Everything's the same. So why does one win and another not win? They wear clothes, they wear pretty much the same shoes, the same turf. What's the difference? The difference is philosophy. Philosophy. So what do I mean by this? Yesterday I was interviewing an American cattle rancher, and these are people that sell meat. Right. And in America, they're going through some problems because 85% of the meat is sold by 4 companies: Tyson Food, JBS, and a couple other ones.
Right.
And these 4 are bullying the other companies. The 15%, there's 700,000 cattle ranchers in America. In 1979, it was 1.3 million. We've gone from 1.3 million to only 700,000, right?
Right.
And I'm talking to him, and I'm asking him questions about what's going on. I says, well, we're being bullied by these 4 companies, and they're really hurting us, and this is kind of unfair, and this is... I said, let me ask you a question. He says, what's that? I said, is what's happening to your industry similar to what Walmart did to a lot of mom and pop shops in America? Because there were many people that were selling milk in a small city of Toledo, and it was called John's Market. and you would go to John's Market, you would buy milk from there. Then Walmart showed up. You're selling it for $3. Walmart can sell it for $2.29 because they're buying 10,000 milks and you're only buying 500 milks. So Walmart can sell it for cheaper. I said, is what Walmart did to shops happening to you? He said, absolutely. Then I asked the next question. I said, who's the Amazon of your industry? He said, nobody. I said, well, there lies the opportunity. So it's not the industry that will change. It's the approach. It's the approach. The companies that are going to excel with different industries, realize every industry has an opportunity today. Every industry. I run the fastest growing insurance company in America. Fastest growing, no one's close to us. Why are we running it? I don't have more experience than my competitors. I don't have more money than my competitors. These are $400 billion companies I'm competing against.
Right.
I don't have fancier degrees. I don't have a 4-year degree or an 8-year degree MBA from a Wharton Business School. I don't have a rich family with a Vanderbilt or a Kennedy that's going to give me $100 million to start. No, it's the philosophy. Any industry led by a leader with an effective philosophy today that enables to speed up the process of transaction and simplicity and a unique approach that gives a client an offer that's different than the rest, that person wins. So if I'm sitting down with a handful of guys in a boardroom today and we're thinking about what industry, I'm more studying industries that have old broken systems of getting clients, and I'm asking myself, how do we change that? That's the biggest thing I would suggest. It wouldn't be any specific industry, it'd be a philosophy.
Very true. And
I have also seen that, and I really appreciate you for that. The honesty and the integrity with which you talk, I genuinely feel, not just talk, but you exhibit that in your work. I feel that a lot of entrepreneurs, including me, that is the reason why we connect with you. Because I know that you've not been born with a silver spoon. I know your story. You have also become emotional in some of your videos. So it's quite visible because a person who's honest, only he's going to do that. Otherwise, we can't fake it in the longer run. It's like, if you have it inside you, it's going to be visible to people. With the kind of content that you produce, I'm sure there cannot be any faking. You have to show your real self, isn't it?
I appreciate that. And, you know, for me, I always connected with people who were like that. And I told myself, my dad always told me, he says, listen, you can be afraid of a lot of things, man. He says, never be afraid of the truth. Never. He says, a lot of people are going to try to win with their fists and with fights. He says, you try to win with results and with your words. If you can do that, eventually everybody will do business with you. My father was a man who would always tell my mother's side everything that came to his mind. He was not one that held back. However, when my mother's family needed somebody to give $1 million to hang on to that they trusted the most, they only thought about one person, and it was my dad. So that quality of character was passed down from my dad to me.
right.
The first video, Patrick, that I saw was the video Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 seconds. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that video and then they were like, all right, he's the man we want to follow. So was that the kind of your breakthrough moment on digital media?
I would say the first one is probably going to be that. Yeah, because I was a low-key guy. I was creating content for a couple of years. And then October 31st of 2015, we had a video the day before. We put it on YouTube and it didn't do well. It's The Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 Seconds. But on YouTube, we titled it Best Motivational Video of 2015. And then the next day, we were disappointed. The video didn't do good. So I called Mario. I said, I'm going to direct upload it on Facebook. He says, great. I said, but I'm going to change the title. He says, what are you going to name the title? I said, I'm going to name it The Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 Seconds. It was October 31st at 3:13 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I put the video up. We went to take our kids to trick-or-treating. And then we came back and it said 250,000 views in 2 hours. I said, 250,000 views? What happened to it? Went to sleep. I woke up. It was 5 million views in 24 hours. And every website of mine was down. I had tens of thousands of messages and emails. And then it ended up getting 31 million views. And today it's gone a couple billion views on multiple different platforms all combined. So yeah, it was a breakthrough.
I feel that I have almost watched that video 25 times because we have gone through that situation. You know, Patrick, I'll tell you, it's very difficult for people to even digest that. I did my MBA, I did my master's in business administration, then I started with my company. And in India, you know how it is, right? Parents want us to play safe, have a job. And there was a period when I was living with my parents, and I literally survived at $10 per month. So my food, my stay, everything was being taken care by my parents. And I can't even say to them that I don't have money, because otherwise they'll say, go do a job. And my brother, my younger brother, was also involved in my work. So that video, it gives hope that yes, things are going to change. So again, both of us, we do believe in mentorship a lot. Why do you feel mentorship cuts short the timings or the time that a person takes to reach wherever they want to reach in their life?
The biggest thing with mentorship
Is who you choose as a mentor. Look, in life, we get judged on who we marry. And then we get judged on who we befriend. You know, why is he friend with people like that, right? You befriend the wrong people, you can ruin your life. You befriend the right people, you can, have an edge in life. Then it's about who you go into business with. Who are your business partners? Do you choose the right business partners?
Right.
And then the other part is also you get judged for the mentors you choose. You choose the right mentor, all you're doing is speeding up the process. Instead of going 22 miles an hour, you're now going 82 miles an hour. Instead of going and, having to make those 27 mistakes that you would make in your first 3 years, that's going to waste time. That person is going to tell you, don't make those 27 mistakes. And maybe he's going to prevent you from making, out of the 27, only 4 of the mistakes. You don't make the other 23 mistakes. So those are some of the things you have if you have the right mentor. It's a game changer, again, if you have the right mentor.
Right. I also saw your video when you were speeding over water, and that speed was much more than, what was it, 100 miles?
67 miles an hour in Italy. I was driving a Ferrari at the Ferrari headquarters. And the guy that was sitting next to me was a 3-time Ferrari world champion. He was saying, press it, press it. He was saying, push it, like he was not afraid, and it was raining. He says, this is a Ferrari. Trust the car. So anyways, I was going 167 in the rain.
Wow. Your advice to a 17-year-old Patrick Bet-David?
Is, one, don't panic. Don't worry too much. It's all going to work out. And very, very quickly find the right person to shadow. Very, very quickly go find the right person to shadow. And then if you want to really live a happy life and more fulfilled life, get clear on the values and principles that matter to you the most, and try to have your behavior on the way you live match the values and principles that you've built the foundation of your life with. If those two match, everything's going to work out.
Awesome. Now, the question that I'm about to ask you might break a lot of hearts or might make a lot of people motivated, because you talk about entrepreneurship. You have guided entrepreneurs since the past so many years. Can everyone or can anyone become an entrepreneur? Is it the game for almost everybody?
The answer is yes, because let me explain. In order for that question to make sense is we have to define what an entrepreneur means, right? So to me, an entrepreneur means if a person starts a side business and they replace their income and they make it by generating their own income, I think you're an entrepreneur. So if you're at your job, you're making $4,000 a month, and you create a business that pays you $4,000 a month, you're an entrepreneur. Now, can you go be an Elon Musk? That's the discussion. So the levels you can go is why not everybody can. Now, let me give you the flip side of it. I believe there are those who can be entrepreneurs who shouldn't be entrepreneurs. Why? Here's why. Sometimes it makes sense for somebody who can be an entrepreneur, but you're going to make a better intrapreneur. What do I mean by better intrapreneur? There's 2 things I talk about, entrepreneur and intrapreneur. Entrepreneur is somebody that goes and starts the business, they're the founder. Intrapreneur is somebody that thinks exactly like an entrepreneur, but they didn't start the company. An intrapreneur works for an entrepreneur, and they eventually end up running the company, owning a piece of the company, bringing value to the company, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes this makes way more money and gives a better life than this.
True.
There are very few people that ought to just want to go do this because everybody's doing it. A lot of people want their Instagram profile to say entrepreneur. A lot of Twitter profiles, they want it to say entrepreneur. But here, Steve Ballmer is worth 50-some billion. He's not been an entrepreneur. He's a guy that worked for Microsoft, and he owns the Clippers. He hasn't founded too many companies from scratch. He's bought companies. He's not gone and put everything on the line like Gates to start Microsoft. Not at all. So yes, I believe everybody can do it. At what level? I can't, we won't know because it's only the other person's going to know. but sometimes the alternative is to consider being an intrapreneur instead of an entrepreneur.
Right. One of the recent videos that I saw from your side was introverts can be entrepreneurs. They do really well, can be good team members. That is what you have talked about. And there are a lot of people. First of all, the problem is a lot of people consider themselves to be introverts only because of what their parents have told them or based upon what society or their conditioning. So what do you have to say to them? Okay, this is a message. You would be able to do well. It's not required that you have to be an amazing communicator. Being an introvert might be in your favor as well.
You know, it's crazy. If you would have met me at 9 years old, you would have said I'm an introvert. If you would have met me when I was a kid, I was an introvert. But here's what happened. I was a very shy kid, very, very, very shy kid, until my parents got a divorce and I went to Germany at a refugee camp, which was only myself, my mom, and my sister. And at the camp, fights broke out, things happened, and I went from being this shy, introvert to I had to kind of be ready because my mom is there, my sister's there, and I had to kind of come out of my shells. And one of the things I've learned is the following. A lady sent me a message on Instagram, and she said, my dad was a bully, and he did this, and I can't stand who he was. And I'm watching her content. She's killing it. I said to her something very confusing that confused her at first, and then she took a day to respond back. Mm-hmm. I said, sometimes bullies tend to give birth to future giants. Why? Because if you're around somebody that pushes you around and challenges you, later on in life, if you've been able to overcome a father like that, you can overcome anybody. Sometimes a lot of these wealthy families, royal families, they like to raise their kids around horses. And kids who are raised around horses, they sit there and they say, if I can control an animal this big, I'm not worried about what kind of a human being I'm going to deal with. No human being is going to be a ton. No human being is going to be that big. So there are benefits, like my kids. One of the things I do with my kids, I'm pretty tough with my two boys. Mm-hmm. I push them around, I challenge them, all this other stuff. Because I know if they can handle me, and I'm a big 6'4", 250, intimidating looking guy. I don't look like a nice looking guy. People who don't know me, they think I'm maybe a tough guy or whatever. But with my kids, I push them around a lot. My boys, I push them around a lot. I challenge them. Why do I do that? If they can handle their daddy, they're going to be able to handle anybody. So to go back to what you're saying is, sometimes this shyness is maybe a part of your personality. Right. There are introverts who are kind of to themselves and quiet, but you can't let being an introvert be somebody that's a pushover. You got to show your toughness as well. So introverts that are not pushovers end up becoming very good entrepreneurs. Bill Gates is an introvert who's not a pushover. Mark Zuckerberg is an introvert who's not a pushover. You got to look at some of these personalities that are like introverts, but you do not mess with those guys. You combine those two together, that makes for a scary combination.
Very true. Now, I know that you talk about strategy and work and hustle and all those things. We have to do it. What do you think? Is there a time when an entrepreneur has to say, I'm done. Now I have to switch back. No point feeding my ego. I have to go back, maybe work upon myself, redesign, redevelop myself, and then come back again.
I did that multiple times. The first business I had, I was selling a 100-page website and I failed miserably. I was in debt $49,000 and I lost everything. And by the way, the part about going back is not a black and white answer. Let me explain to what I mean by it's not a black and white answer. Marriage is not easy. Does divorce make sense every once in a while? When I was a kid, I didn't think my parents should have gotten a divorce. As an adult, they did the right thing. I'm glad they got a divorce. If they would have stayed married, my dad would have died sooner. They would have had more heart attacks. It would have been a miserable life. The moment they got a divorce, they've lived longer. My dad's 78. He's still living today. He's had 13 heart attacks. And he just had a birthday last month. My mother's 74 and she's around. And, my dad's outliving his mom and his dad. And both of them died young. So everybody's wondering, why is he living so long? So I think divorce makes sense at times. However, even though I think divorce makes sense sometimes, there are a lot of people that prematurely get a divorce that was just a fight. You just had a bad fight.
Right.
It happens in every marriage. Did you go see a counselor? Have you gone sit down with a therapist? Have you given it a 3-month break? Have you tried to put an effort into it? Have you guys tried to go to dinner together? Have you guys sat down and had a conversation together? Have you guys had date nights? Have you gone away for a couple of days and just getting away from the kids? Have you understood that having kids ruin marriages? Kids sometimes confuse parents. When you have a kid and if you don't really know what's going on, they can really pin the husband and the wife against each other. So you got to really look at all this stuff. So are your in-laws getting involved? Do they have too much say in your marriage? Have you sat down with both your in-laws and told them to just be quiet and stop minding your business and start minding their own business? Have you done those things? Then after that, yes, divorce does make sense every once in a while. So does it make sense sometimes to throw the business, and just call it quits and throw in the towel? Yes. At what point? After you've tried every single possible thing. Sometimes when we say yes, people are selective hearing. They just want to hear something to say, that's why I'm quitting, because Patrick said quit your business. No, I didn't say that. I said, did you take every possible measure to make your business work?
Right.
I had a few businesses that went out of business. When we did this one, PHP, that is one of the bigger businesses I own, when we built PHP, a year into the business, my savings went down to $13,000. I had nothing to my name. I would own $13,000, and I come home one night, and my wife is in bed crying. I said, why are you crying? She said, I just had a miscarriage. I said, we were really trying to get pregnant, and we couldn't do it. There was so much pressure in our lives. She had a miscarriage. So she's crying there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting sued. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. I went outside. I said, babe, I'm going to go for a walk. And I took my old iPod, and I was listening to music. I remember exactly what song I was listening to. And I was having a conversation with God. I said, listen, man, if you exist, what is going on? I'm doing my best. Why are you making it difficult? What is this all about? What did I do to upset you? And I'm going back and forth with this conversation. And then the next week, we went and worked our tails off. We got a $50,000 check. Then we got a $100,000 check. Then obviously everything changed. But many, many times, we were on the verge of going out of business in the first 5-6 years. Right. Many times. But we came back up. We wrote out strategies. We rolled up our sleeves. We got to work, and we made it work. So this is coming from a guy that has shut down a business 15, 20 years ago. And this is coming from a guy that also, at a point where the business almost went out of business, made it work as well.
Awesome. What made you persist during those tough times? Because I know
what's the alternative?
A lot of people say to us that, Rahul, we see you as a person whom we look up to and things like that. I'm sure that you would have never felt like quitting, but that's not true. This is what I say to them. I felt like quitting maybe 300 times, but I persisted. But I did it because I felt like I have a duty. I have a team with me. I need to take care of my team. To be really honest, at one particular point of time, that was my driving force. So if there is anything like that, that probably made you persist.
Alternative. I mean, really, what is the alternative? What am I going to do? I'm going to go to a different industry, and then I'm going to have to start from scratch, and I'm going to have to learn through things, and eventually I'm going to hit a wall. Wall exists in every single industry, by the way. There is a wall you are going to hit in every industry. Now, are there times where maybe you're do you marry the first woman you kiss? How many people do? Not many. Now, I know some people in India are arranged marriages, but it's not all of them. It's a small 20%, 25%. It's not, people think 100% of marriages in India are arranged. I learned when I was in Mumbai, it's not. Mumbai, it's not. It's, a small percentage of it, but it's still happening. You don't kiss the first woman you don't marry the first woman you kiss. You kind of go through it and you realize. But once you do commit to an industry and a company, and you have to just anticipate to know that you are going to hit a wall. When people get married, and prior to getting married, they come and they talk to me, they say, Pat, man, I'm about to get married. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Any advice you got for me? I said, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. Why is that? I said, how often do you get along with yourself? Not all the time. I said, do you have a lot of fights internally with yourself? Yes. So imagine you already don't get along with yourself all the time. Add another person there who also doesn't get along with themselves all the time, and then try to get along with that person, and then try to get along with the kids that you give birth to, and the kid changes you and changes her, and then try to get along with the kid and her, and then try to get along with her family who doesn't get along with everybody, and then get your family who doesn't get along with you to get along with their family. It's a mess. Do you want to do it? And they sit there and they say, maybe this marriage thing is not for me. I said, you got to think about it. It's not as juicy as you go to a wedding. Everybody looks good. They're dancing, incredible food, smiles, happiness. That's one day is what it is. The same applies to business. Business is a lot of work. You are going to hit walls. It is going to be very difficult. It is going to mentally and emotionally torture you at times. But if you hang around, then the life shows up. What's the life? I've had the Lambos because I always wanted to know what a Lambo is. I don't like a Lambo because I'm 6'4". I don't fit in it. I had the Ferrari. I love the Ferrari. I own a nice $400,000 Rolls Royce convertible. I love it. I went and watched the movie Ford versus Ferrari. I ended up buying a Shelby, and I applied to get a Shelby F40. I'm on a waiting list. I've been all over the world. I've been to 45-something countries.
Awesome.
I've partied with the most strangest people. I've been with presidents, with Kobe Bryant, with royalty family, with politically connected family, with some of the most stranger personalities in the world. None of this stuff would have happened if I didn't build my business. So sometimes you have to also look forward to the dream of what that dream life's going to look like if you pay the price. If you don't remind yourself of the dream is the gas station that fills you up every time for you to get excited about willing to pay the price. Once the dream becomes a reality, you're going to be so glad you didn't give up.
Very true.
Very true. The why, it keeps us going. And if you ask me, I guess the same thing happened here. Many a times we don't even know why we persist, but it's like we have to do it. That is how we have been built. That is how we have been brought up. Now, Patrick, a problem that happens in India, a lot of parents, they're like, no. Now it is changing a lot. It has changed, but still there are a lot of parents who are conservative, who don't want their children to go into business. It's risky. Go play it safe. What's your message to them, especially the younger ones?
Every person that ever did something good, they had to overcome their first bullies, and that was their parents. It's very natural. Your parents don't know it, but they're bullies. And they're not doing it because they're bad people. Like, it's not like go confront your parents today and say, you're a bully, mom and dad. No, that's not what I'm saying to you. They naturally are bullies, and they don't know that they're being bullies. I know bully is a bad word. It's like, oh my gosh, bullying this. My parents are not bullies. I'm not talking about bully like they're punching you in the face and they're pushing you around. No, they think they know what's right for you. That is a form of bullying. Parents think they know what's right for their kids. That is a form of bullying. But I have 3 kids, and my 3 kids, I watch them. And the way I lead these kids, slightly different. Every day, one of my kids is at the office during the quarantine time because schools are shut down every day. So I put a basketball court behind this wall. Every day, they're supposed to shoot 104 shots, make 104 shots. They come here, they read 20 pages. The oldest has to read the 20 pages. The youngest reads 10 pages. And then they watch a documentary of my choosing. And then they have to do their homework. And then if they do that, then they can play around and have fun. And in our office, we have slides and all this other stuff.
Right.
My 3 kids are very different. I'm not pushing anything onto them. I watch them. My oldest 8-year-old, I can't get books out of his hand. I got him into reading with the hopes of him getting addicted. He's addicted to the point where we have to get him to go to sleep because he sleeps like this. Get the book out of your hand. Best addiction at a young age. So I said, Tico, what do you want to be when you grow up? So one time he watched a scary movie and he says, oh my gosh, that was so scary. And then he wanted to read on Alfred Hitchcock. He was 7 years old when he read on Alfred Hitchcock. And he read about Steven Spielberg. And he read about all these scary producers and directors. He says he was in his bed one night and he had his blanket over because he read it and was kind of scared. Yeah. And I'm laying next to him. I said, what are you thinking about, Daddy? He says, Daddy, that was scary. I said, that is scary. I said, but can you imagine if you go to USC, who's the best school in the world for cinematography and movies, and you go where Steven Spielberg went. Imagine when you make movies. And he's sitting there. He's like, you know what, Daddy? I said, what? He says, I'm going to make a scary movie that scares Alfred Hitchcock and Steven Spielberg. I said, I love it, buddy. And then I started telling him stories. Hey, you know, Steven Spielberg used to scare his sisters because he loved seeing people's reactions. And then the more he's reading, now he's saying he wants to be a scientist, et cetera, et cetera. My middle son could care less about being a scientist. He doesn't care about scientists. He doesn't like dogs. My oldest loves dogs. He loves cats. He loves all that stuff. All of us are wired differently. You cannot expect for your parents to fully understand you. Your parents are not going to wake up and fully understand who you are and what you're doing. Sometimes you have to go and earn their respect. When I said I'm going into the financial industry, my dad thought I was crazy. My mom thought I was a drug dealer until I came back. And then they saw what I was doing. And then they said, wow, we had no idea what you were doing. I said, this is what I'm doing. Now I'm the leader of the family. My dad used to be the leader of the family, but I'm the leader of the family. Sometimes when you go out there and win and go against your parents, eventually you end up becoming the leader of that family.
True.
True. The same thing has happened at our house, because now that you do well, you have people following you, the revenue is in place, you get the respect, not just from everybody else, but also at your own house. Very important. Now, one very important question. My team members were like, Rahul, you asked this to him, Patrick. I'm like, okay, like, what made you say yes to this interaction?
I'm a big India guy. I love India. When I went out there, I'm a fan of your Prime Minister Modi. He's doing the right things. And by the way, I'm very optimistic that India could take a lot of business away from China, because the relationship with India and US is good. India doesn't play games. India doesn't manipulate relationships. India doesn't try to do anything strange to America. And I think it's showing right now that Modi and Trump are spending a lot of time together. What Trump is trying to push for is to get those 1,000 companies of the biggest companies in America that are, stationed in China, to move all of that into India. And I'm just very bullish in what's going to happen in India. And then at the same time, you came across extremely professional. Your approach was incredible. We liked your approach, and we pay very close attention to the approach that people take. And once we did that, we decided to. We get a lot of approaches from India, by the way. We probably get 100 requests of India to do podcasts per month. Wow. We don't say yes because I don't have that kind of a
time.
I'm in my office right now, and I got stuff I need to do, and I got meetings all day today. But we said yes to because we were very impressed by your approach.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Patrick, I know that you are an avid reader. Do we also have a book coming from your side that is going to be there for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so it's a book I've been working on for a while called Your Next 5 Moves, that's being published with Simon & Schuster, and you can actually go buy it right now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And here's what the book is about. A lot of times people ask me and they say, Pat, did you know you were going to do this? Like, did you know you were going to do that? Did you do this intentionally? Why is it that it makes sense that everything was a sequence? And the answer is, yes, it's a part of the madness. It's a formula. It's almost like playing chess. Magnus Carlsen, who's a grandmaster, if you study the game of chess, the average player knows how to make their next 1 to 3 moves. Pros know their next 5 moves. Masters know 10 moves. Grandmasters are typically know their next 15 moves. And the whole part of business and life is, many times people want something, but that's move number 32. They're trying to do it on move number 3, and they hurt themselves. Many times they want to go out there and make an investment in a part in their company. That is a good thing, but they need to do move 13, not move 4. And when they do that, their business goes out of business. I wrote this book to teach a certain process of how to make your next 5 moves at the stage that you're currently at, not where Buffett's at, not where another person's at, where you're currently at. And that's why the title of the book is Your Next 5 Moves.
One last segment we have here, real quick, okay? A lot of people feel entrepreneurs are boring and entrepreneurs only work. So we have a rapid fire segment here, wherein I ask you and you got to just answer, no thinking, all right? Game for it? Awesome.
Go for it.
Okay. So define Patrick Bet-David in one word.
Leader.
Instagram or YouTube?
YouTube.
Favorite food?
Caviar.
Content creation or team meetings?
Team meetings.
Money or fame?
Oh my gosh, money or fame? I don't know. I really don't know, because I'm chasing history, and both of them are going to come. I'm not chasing money or fame, because I'm chasing to do something that's never been done before. It's guaranteed I'm going to get both of them. It's happening because I'm seeking something else.
Awesome. If you were to trade lives with anyone else for a day, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Alive.
Alive. I mean, it'd be a president. It'd be Trump.
Okay.
To be the president, and not necessarily Trump. It'd be to be the president of the United States for a day. See how it would be.
So do we see you fighting for that position in the future?
I wasn't born in America, so I can't do it. But people that I know closely to me, they will definitely get there.
Awesome. Your biggest addiction?
Good food, good information.
Okay. How cool are you?
I'm pretty cool.
I agree to that.
I would say I'm pretty cool.
I said the same thing to Mario. First celebrity crush?
Jada Pinkett, crazy about her.
Awesome. Baby panda or baby penguin?
Baby panda.
Baby panda. I probably know the answer of the next question still. Batman or Spider-Man?
Oh, Batman.
Okay. You know what I had expected? I thought that you would say Joker.
Well, Joker's right here. They're all here right now next to me.
Right.
But if you said those two, I would say Batman. But I have a little bit of all three of these guys in me.
Right. Favorite word?
Favorite word?
Okay.
It's a phrase, but it's what I use the most. We'll see.
Okay. Last book you read?
Lord of Finance.
Lord of Finance.
Actually, not Lord of Finance. I'm reading a book right now on communism because I'm interviewing him tomorrow. He's the biggest communistic voice in the world.
I see the immaculate preparation that you do before every interview. It is mind-blowing. I see that. Okay. How does an angry Patrick Bet-David look like?
Very scary. You can ask Mario about it.
I'm really happy. Whenever we plan to come to US, I've never visited Dallas yet. I've been there twice. I'm sure this time around we'll request you for some time. We would like to be there, see the learning, be there, learn from you. And I'm sure that we're going to learn and inculcate a lot of things.
I look forward to it as well.
And when do we see Patrick next in India?
It depends when things settle down and a big event is taking place there. If something happens where I'm being requested for a solid event, I will definitely consider it.
We were actually doing an event in Goa this year in May, but we have to postpone it now, of course. So there we had 5,000 people coming in. Now we'll reschedule and I'm surely going to send you an email for that. I hope you enjoyed the interaction.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I had a good time with you, man. You're a great interviewer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. A lot of love and gratitude from our side, Patrick. And a special thanks to Zenia as well as Mario for setting this up.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Excellent. Thanks for doing that. Take care, buddy. Great job.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.